So today I feel inspired. It's beautiful out. It's like 3 p.m., 75 degrees. I'm on my break from work. I've got my Canon EOS M with a 22 millimeter, so 35 millimeter equivalent because it's an APS-C. And I'm just enjoying shooting some photos around my yard. And I wanted to share that with you guys and talk about how you can be more creative within your photos right here, right now. And I'm not just talking about getting lower to the ground and getting different angles. I want to talk about some other stuff that just isn't talked about really in the photography space. So let's dive in. Let's first address what I feel like my problem with creativity is, because maybe some of you can relate. I feel like everything is just kind of dulled around me. Every time I pick up my camera, I'm going to the same locations, I'm using the same camera every single time, and I just want to change it up. I don't know if it's the location. You know, when I went to Iceland, obviously everything's new and amazing, and I saw icebergs and volcanoes and things that I've never seen before. But in my own backyard, I've seen the same stuff every day for the last 7-8 years, and then the mountains around me and the landscapes I've seen every day for the last like 27-28 years, as long as I've been alive. So nothing really new around me surprises me, but there's some things I've found that help me combat that, and let's talk about that right now. The first thing I wanted to talk about is composition. I'm going to work through a live shooting demonstration here in just a second, but first, why is composition so important? Well, because it is the basis of your photos. It can make or break certain photos. You can learn composition and help train your creative eye, allowing you to see details that you wouldn't normally see or look for when you get to a location. Let's take this birdhouse for example. It is just, kind of there. It's broken. We center it in frame. We get something that stands out a little bit because it's red, but it looks more like a snapshot that I'm going to send to my repairman and be like, hey, can you fix my birdhouse? But if we look for other elements, like this fully intact birdhouse in the back left, we could take this one in the foreground, get it nice and sharp. And then the one in the back left is blurred out. Gives a sense of wonder. Why is one of them fully intact? Why is one of them broken? Why did I choose to shoot it that way? What happened to this birdhouse? It tells more of a story. So that's how you can work through a composition and look for other elements that might help you tell more of a story within your photography. Composition is something tricky. Instagram is a weird place because you can find photos and inspiration, but a lot of the stuff looks the same. Go through and tell me it doesn't. Now, if you go look at old photos from like National Geographic or artists and their paintings, you start to get more of the basic compositional rules and some abstract concepts mixed together. And that's one thing that I'm trying to master in my photography is storytelling and how I can use those compositions to make better photos. Now that I'm off work, I wanted to talk more about the storytelling elements and how you can find them within your composition. So first off, intuition. Something stands out to you, especially the human eye, take a photo of it. Whether it's color, contrast, whether it's a landmark that you love, or something that's just popular like the Eiffel Tower, or I live outside of DC, so the Washington Monument. Take photos of it, because people will eat it up, I'm telling you. I've always found it kind of easy to find stories within objects, but if you're having trouble, look for things that emotionally move you. If you're driven by something, you can go shoot photos and tell an amazing story. Whether it's that leaf falling that indicates the change to fall, or that epic sunset selfie that you took on the top of a mountain near the pagoda house. You can tell which one's my favorite photo. That just indicates where your photography journey has gone. There's a lot of story to be driven by just one singular photo. It's one frame that can tell 1,000 words. So get creative, really, think outside of the box. How exactly do we get inspired? You can look through Instagram, which I think is oversaturated. I have no problem with influencers and travel destinations, but honestly, stop looking at photos of Iceland and Spain and people with hundreds of thousands of followers and go find some local artists and photography. Get inspired by books, find magazines of local mountain trails, go find life image photos. You can find all these at like the Goodwill. Design essentials for like creative work, photojournalism, the photographer's manual, all sorts of stuff that you can find out there. I like physical books, but there's resources online. That's a lot of books. You can use all this stuff to get creative and think outside of the box and start getting beyond the saturation of social media and starting to create more conceptual art around your style and something new. Find your own way, copy others to learn, but modify it, put your own twist on it. That's one of my favorite things about photography, is it is so subjective. You can learn all these rules just to break them and then get known for that certain style. I'm telling you, it is amazing when you dig into it, but it is so hard at first and so overwhelming. Just take your time, learn, and as you start reading, start training your eye, you'll get to locations and start seeing more detail. You can look through your camera lens, you know, take your actual camera, and I don't have one with me, but swap out the lens if you can. You know, get different focal lengths. That really will help you get inspired in new locations, but go beyond Instagram. Go find some local stuff. Search things like award-winning photography within your area and see and try to find things that are locations you've been to. Find photos that blow your mind and tell stories that you never thought you could from places in your own backyard. I've told you my problem, worked through a composition, shown you how I find storytelling elements, and even how I get inspired. Now, how do we actually practice taking creative photos? To be honest, you want to think inside the box instead of outside the box. Put some constraints on your photography. Go to the same place every day for a week and try to shoot the same photo and make it better each day. Try to shoot stuff in your room, in a literal box, and make amazing art without leaving your bed even if you want to. You know, go in your backyard and shoot the same thing, the same place, and try to get more intricate details, photos, and angles, and just see what you can experiment with. This is how you practice photography. When you put constraints on it, then when you get to a location and you're ready to just explore, you can find those minute details that can help you gain images or capture images that other photographers just might not see. Also, another tip, if you see everyone shooting the same photo in a location, especially if you go to a place like Iceland where there's a ton of people with cameras, go somewhere else. Go find a different composition, because I'm telling you, you will not regret it trying to take a different, more conceptualized photo than the one that everyone else has taken. With that being said, I hope you guys got inspired by this video. I'm Brad G Media signing out, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.